Dear student, I am starting your lecture number 4 on a power amplifier class A, or title we have written the transistor power amplifier class A operation. In this lecture I am discussing about the sum of the drawback of the transformer coupled power amplifier and some of the topic related about the transformer coupled power amplifier. First topic, I am discussing small topic, just I want to give the brief idea about the topic. I am discussing harmonic distortions in a transformer coupled power amplifier. You are knowing there are two methods to determine the harmonic distortion. One method is known as a 3-point method and second is known as a 5-point method to calculate harmonic distortion. 3-point method is used when input signal is small. 3-point method is used to calculate the harmonic distortion when input signal to your amplifier is very small, and 5-point method is used when input signal is large. When input signal is large, then 5-point method is used to calculate harmonic distortion. In a power amplifier, harmonic distortion is large, so we have to use 5-point method. And in a power amplifier, the transistor is driven over the two extreme points of the load line. This means transistor is operated between two extreme points, that is saturation and cutoff point of the load line. As a result, 5-point method is used to calculate the harmonic distortion. The second order harmonic distortion can be calculated by following equation. The second order, third order, fourth order harmonic distortion can be calculated from the following equation, where A1, A2, A3 are the strength of the fundamental frequency. A1 is the strength of the current at the fundamental frequency. A2 is the strength of the current at second harmonic. A3 is the strength of the current at the third harmonic. A4 is the strength of the current at fourth harmonic, and total harmonic distortion can be calculated from this equation. Harmonic distortion will be reduced if the source resistance is low compared to the input resistance of the transistor, otherwise the harmonic distortion will be large. As far concerned with the listening standpoint of view, second order harmonic distortion is more objectionable. Let us go for the another topic. Topic name is output power. To calculate the output power at the fundamental frequency, we can use this equation. And you know that IRMS is nothing but the Im by root 2. It means I square R, you know this equation. So Im I am writing E1 square RL dash by 2. You can use this equation. This is equation number 1. To calculate the output power at the fundamental frequency, you can use this equation I square RMS into RL dash. IRMS is Im by root 2, already you know that, into RL dash square and RL dash I am writing A1, it's a strength of the current at fundamental frequency. We have written A1, so A1 square RLS. You can also use the second equation of the output power. For output power you can use output power can be also calculated Vrms into Irms. It is nothing but the Vm by root 2 or Im by root 2. You can also calculate the maximum voltage by V maximum minus V minimum upon 2, already you know that, into I maximum minus I minimum upon 2 into root 2. So by these two equations you calculate the output power. It is found that if you calculate the output power with equation number 1 and equation 2, both coming is different. So both show the different value. So it is necessary to use the correct equation to calculate the output power. Equation number 1 gives the more correct value because equation number 1 also consider the effect of the reflected load RLS in the output power. So equation number 1 gives a more accurate value of a output power. So in this topic we have discussed only the two equations. You can calculate the output power from the equation E1 square RLS by 2. You can also calculate the output power by this equation. This is the measures on CRO. With the help of CRO you can measure the V maximum, V minimum, I maximum, I minimum, and you can calculate this. Okay. So this gives the more accurate value compared to this. Third topic we are discussing variation of output power with RLS. The variation of the output power, variation of the output power with load RLS is shown in the figure. This is the variation I am showing you. This is a variation. So initially it is increases, as RLS is what increases, it is increases and it becomes saturated. In this graph, the variation of the harmonic distortion with RLS is also shown. So you can see that this is a graph of second harmonic distortion, this is a third, this is a fourth, and this is a total harmonic distortion. So this graph indicates at this value of the load your power is maximum. At this value of the load harmonic distortion is minimum. For a good power amplifier harmonic distortion should be less. For a good power amplifier it should be designed in such a way that it gives the less harmonic distortion. But this graph indicates that the load which gives the maximum output power is different than the load which gives the minimum harmonic distortion. This graph indicates that the load which gives the maximum output power is different than the load which gives the minimum harmonic distortion. So to get less harmonic distortion, one has to sacrifice the output power. Listen, the graph again, the graph of output power with load RLS is shown in figure, and here also we have shown the harmonic distortion. So this graph show that the load which gives the maximum output power is different than the load which gives the minimum harmonic distortion. For a good power amplifier, the harmonic distortion should be less. This indicates that one is to sacrifice the output power to have a low value of harmonic distortion. So this is called one disadvantage, or you can say drawback. For a transformer coupled power amplifier, the load which gives maximum output power is different than the load which gives the minimum harmonic distortion. Therefore, for a good power amplifier design, one has to sacrifice the output power to get low distortion. Fourth topic we are discussing, thermal runaway for a transformer coupled amplifier. To avoid the thermal runaway in a transformer coupled amplifier, this condition is to be satisfied. This condition should be satisfied. Where VCC is supply voltage, this is a collector current at Q condition, RC is the DC resistance of primary of the transformer, R is the emitter bypass resistors, S is the stability factor, I0 is a extra DC component. You already know what is the meaning of this extra DC component. Theta J is the junction to ambient thermal resistance of transistors. See, this equation should be satisfied, where VCC is supply voltage, this is your collector current at Q point, RC is a resistance of your primary or DC resistance of the primary of the transformer, R is a emitter bypass resistance, S is a stability factor, I0 is the extra DC component. Already you know that transistor is nothing but the back-to-back diode, and you are studying in a 5-point method, the I0 is coming in the term, is the extra DC component, because transistor is a back-to-back diode and some signal may be rectified due to back-to-back diode. So I0 is the extra DC component. Theta J is a junction to ambient thermal resistance of a transistor. Its unit is degree centigrade per watt. Fifth, it is a output transformer saturation. See, this is your circuit diagram of a transformer coupled amplifier. This is a circuit diagram of a transfer coupled amplifier. Okay. Vs, Rs, coupling R1, R2, Re, C and ground. When this is your not given, this is your not given, this is not given. DC current is passing here. What is passing? DC current is passing. As DC current is passing, this primary, or you can say coil of the primary, will magnetize. So flux is associated. Flux is associated with the primary in this. Okay. And this flux depends upon this current. So this collector current is called magnetizing force. It magnetizes this coil. This current magnetizes the coil. So therefore this current is called magnetizing current. Now as you apply this AC signal, then this collector current changes. As collector current means base current changes. As you apply the signal, base current changes. As base current changes, collector current changes. As collector current changes, the flux associated with the primary changes. As flux associated with the primary change, flux associated with the secondary change due to mutual inductance. As a result, output voltage is developed across RL. Look again what I am telling you. When AC signal is not applied, collector current is passing through this coil. As collector current is passing through this coil is magnetized. So this collector current is called magnetizing force, which magnetizes the coil. So flux is associated with the primary. So Q point can be written in terms of the flux at that time. Whatever flux is there, that is called flux at Q point. Now I am applying the AC signal. As you apply the AC signal, base current change. As there is a collector current change. As the collector current change, flux associated with the primary will change. As the flux associated with the primary will change, then flux associated with the secondary will be changed. Now what is happening? This resistance is very low. So large value of the collector current will flow. As a result, Q point in terms of flux will be coming in a saturated region that I am showing you in this graph. Look here. Here Q point is coming. This is at the which point when AC signal is not applied. When AC signal is not applied, then flux associated with the primary is this much. When AC signal is not applied, then flux associated with the primary is this much. See, when AC signal is not applied, when AC signal is not applied, then whatever flux is here, that flux is at this point. This is this much amount of flux associated with the primary. Now AC signal is applied. As a result, base current change. As there is a collector current change. The changing collector current I am showing you like this. This is a changing collector current. So due to this change in collector current, your flux associated with the primary change. As the flux is changing, here flux is changing. So look here, what is the way change in the flux here? The change in the flux is the Q point in saturation, then change in flux is not linear. As a result, voltage developed across this is not exact replica of the input. So this voltage, for positive excursion, the voltage is very small. For negative excursion, voltage is very large. As a result, you will get distorted output. Why you are getting distorted output? Because primary resistance is very less. So if the large value of the collector current is flowing, then Q point is coming in a saturation region of the graph of B versus H. So as AC collector current is changing, the corresponding proportionally change in the flux does not take place in a secondary. As a result, output will be distorted. This is called output transformer saturation problem. For correct undistorted output, your Q point should be here. So when you apply the input signal, then it's proportional flux will be changed in a secondary, and you will not get distorted output voltage. So whatever we have discussed, this is a discussion for the, you can say, it is your discussion for the problem or drawback of the transformer coupled amplifier. So somebody is asking you, what is the drawback of the, you can say, these advantages of transformer coupled class A power amplifier. The first disadvantage is a harmonic distortion. Second order harmonic distortion is large, and second order harmonic distortion is more objectionable as far concerned with the listening standpoint of view. So this is called drawback, or it is called disadvantage of transformer coupled amplifier. Second, the load which gives the load for maximum output power is different than load for minimum harmonic distortion. We have seen that from the graph we can say that the load which gives the maximum output power is different than the load which gives the minimum harmonic distortion. For a good power amplifier design, the harmonic distortion should be small. So we can say that one has to sacrifice the output power to have a low harmonic distortion. This is also called disadvantages. Third, magnetic saturation problem. Due to magnetic saturation in a primary of the transformer, the output is not exact replica of the input. So you can say distorted output is developed across RL. If the Q point is at the middle point of the graph of B versus H, then we can get correct output. But due to very small value of the resistance of the primary of the transformer, large value of the collector current is flowing. As a result, Q point may be situated near to the saturation region of the magnetic field. As a result, the distorted output is produced. These are three disadvantages of a transformer coupled amplifier. We will see that how these three disadvantages can be removed in a push-pull amplifier. Before going to the push-pull amplifier, let us see the two numerical. Let us see the basic numerical. See the question. A transistor maximum average power dissipation capability PT is given. So PT they have given, it is 2.5 watt. Now, when it is used in a class A amplifier, so this is you are using, this is class A couple amplifier. Here they have written direct couple amplifier, means they are talking for resistive load amplifier. This means they are talking for resistive load amplifier. Resistive load amplifier. Now question. The maximum AC power delivered to the load. The question is that if PT is 2.5 watt, then what should be your PL? This is the question. You know that PL is nothing but the PT by 2. So maximum I can get 1.25 watt AC power. Which power? AC. This is AC power. So what the question? The maximum AC power delivered to the load. We know this equation. The maximum AC power delivered to the load is always half of the PT. PT is nothing but the maximum average dissipation capability of a given transistor, and this is given by manufacturer. So I think you understand the answer of first question. Second question. B. The minimum DC power needed from the power supply to provide the power in A. Means they are asking PB. How much DC power required? We know that efficiency is equal to PL by PB. We know this equation. And what is the efficiency here? Efficiency for direct couple amplifier is 25%. 25% is 1 by 4. So it is 1.25. So it is PB. From this I can write the PB is nothing but the 5 watt. See again question. The minimum DC power is needed for the power supply to provide in the power in A. Here in A, how much AC power you require? 1.25. How much DC power is you have to be needed? You have to require DC power. You know the equation efficiency is nothing but the PL by PB. What the efficiency of direct couple amplifier? 25%. 25% means what? 1 by 4. So I have written 1 by 4. So you can get your answer. C. The DC power dissipated in load and in the transistor with no input signal is applied. When input signal is not applied, then how much power in a load? How much power in a load? You know that we have already studied the DC power dissipated in RL is half of the PB, half of the, you can say PB, how much you can say 2.5 watt, and DC power dissipated in transistor is equal to half of the PB, means your 2.5 watt. This is nothing but the when, this is nothing but the input is 0. When no input is applied, at that time half of the power will be dissipated in load and half of the power will be dissipated in transistor. Half of the power will be dissipated in a transistor when input is not applied. So I think you get your answer. So it is your, in a, how much power? PB 5. So half of this means 2.5 watt dissipated in RL, 2.5 dissipated in transistor. This all is DC. Now, the last, the DC power in the load and in the transistor for the condition in A. Condition A means what? When input is applied, at that time they are asking. So at that time DC power dissipated in RL is PB by 2. So it is 2.5 watt. And half of the power, listen, half of the power dissipated in the transistor, half of the power dissipated in transistor will converts into AC power. Therefore, when input is applied, therefore we can write DC power dissipated in transistor is equal to 2.5 by 2 means 1.25 watt. See what the question? The DC power in a load, the load is what? Same. And the DC power in transistor, from this half is converted into AC, remaining half will be converted into, remaining half will be still dissipated. So what is your answer? 1.25 watt. In this way you can solve your numerical. This is your, for which what I have discussed, this is for direct coupled resistive load amplifier. Now let us discuss for the, look at the second numerical we are discussing. What is the change here? In previous case we have written direct resistive couple. Now I am using a transfer coupled amplifier. What the PT they have given? PT they have given is 2.5 watt. Now maximum AC power delivered to the load. So maximum AC power delivered to the load is PT by 2. Answer is the same. You can get 1.25 watt. Okay. Second, the minimum DC power required from the power supply to provide the power in A. So efficiency is nothing but the PL by PB. Here efficiency is nothing but the 50%. So eta is 1 by 2. This is 1.25 and this is your PB. So I can write PB is nothing but the, you can say this is your 2.5 watt. In previous it required how much? 5 watt. Here minimum DC power required from the power supply to provide the power in A. Here it was 4, if you remember, 1 by 4 in previous problem. In this problem, how much efficiency of the transfer coupled amplifier? Efficiency of transfer coupled amplifier is 50%, means 1 by 2. So it is how much power required? This power supply PB is 2.5. Now, when input signal is not applied, then already we have discussed, when input signal is not applied, then see the DC power dissipated in the load and in the transistor with the input signal is, when no input signal is applied. So you are talking for which amplifier? Transfer coupled amplifier. In transfer coupled amplifier, we have taken resistance is 0. Primary resistance of the transformer is 0. As a result, I can write DC power dissipated in load, ideally it is 0 watt. Therefore, DC power dissipated in transistor is equal to 2.5 watt. Same, and in DC power, in a previous problem, half of this power is dissipated in previous one. But in this problem, in a transfer coupled amplifier, we have taken transfer coupled amplifier, we have taken load resistance, means the primary resistance of the transformer tends to 0. So I can write ideally it is 0. Now, the DC power in a load and in the transistor when input signal is applied. When input signal is applied, this is still 0. DC power in load is equal to 0, and from this, remember, from this what will happen? Half of the power will be transferred. So DC power dissipated in transistor will be nothing but 2.5 by 2, so it is 1.25 watt. When input is applied, what is applied? When input is applied, this is nothing but the, you can say, with input. This numerical, just I am giving you brief. In a transfer carbon amplifier, PT is given, so PL is PT by 2. Efficiency they will not given, but you should know the efficiency of transfer carbon amplifier is 50%. So again I can write how much PB is required. When no input signal is applied, then what is DC power dissipating load? It is 0. Reason is that the primary resistance we have taken tends to 0, and whatever DC you are applying, same will be dissipated across the transistor. When input is applied, this is remain 0, but half of this power will be converted into AC, so remaining half will be dissipated as a DC power. I think you understand both the numerical. Here I am keeping the end of the lecture. In next lecture we will discuss about how to overcome the 3 drawback or 3 disadvantage of a transfer coupled amplifier.